Good morning, everybody out there in Facebook land. Yep, we are in variant country. I keep seeing on CNN, because I turn on CNN when I wake up, that Ohio has another upsurge in coronavirus. And I'm just like, why are they picking Ohio? Out of all the 50 states, they're focusing on Ohio. Why are they focusing on Ohio? And I'm thinking, like, there's probably a lot of things going on in Ohio that I don't even know about. So Ohio has a lot of variants. Oh, and I can feel the variants. I'll tell you what, me and my dog know exactly when these variants come through. She feels it, though not as aggressive as she did a couple months ago. But I feel it. Oh my God, yeah, I feel it. So what has helped me get through all of these crazy variants that are out there is the fact that I don't discriminate against food. Okay, food is food, and that's what I keep telling you guys. That's why there's no diet on the J juice. There's no poison in the food supply. Processed food is merely being broken down so you get access to the nutrition, and you get a very diverse data pack of it. So that way you don't have to eat 1,000 pieces of food when you can have it in one sandwich or one processed food dinner. Now, sometimes I get tired of eating, processed food, and I'll make like my own vegetable and meat and then pasta, and that's fine. But let me tell you, every so often going to a fast food restaurant, every so often getting one of those big, huge frozen dinners like those lasagnas, it's really good. And, I used to be afraid of the word soy. Oh my God, it has soybean this, soybean that, because I was brainwashed by the holistic industry to say that soy is bad. But that's only because people have imbalances and hormonal imbalances, and they can't handle the amino acids, the whole protein, because it is a full, complete protein in the soy. And that's why some people can't handle meat, because they have hormonal imbalances. I remember when I first started doing the J juice and I was dealing with my PMDD, and I would feel the effects of the food because I had to recalibrate my biochemistry. And so, yeah, meat was triggering me at some point. I felt after eating a big steak, the next day I was so tired and so lethargic. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to stay away from steak. And so, yeah, I went through a bout of demonizing meat and milk and cheese and carbs and sugar. I mean, at some point, you guys, when you have major biochemical imbalances, you're going to paint yourself into a corner where there's nothing available. Okay? Jelly juice is processed. Jelly juice is not something that you get off a tree. It's not something that you tap from a tree. It's not something that you get out of a lake. Jelly juice is definitely very processed and very strategic. All fast food, all processed food is very strategic. The ingredients, like even the cereals, I look at these, I can't eat too much Captain Crunch, but you see all of the amount of nutrition, potassium, and this much and that much, you're like, wow, it has so much of this, so much of that. But yeah, it's really super sweet. So if I eat like a bowl of Captain Crunch, I gotta do a shot of J juice. I just have to, because I gotta get that balance of sugar and salt. So yeah, so jelly juice is processed. It's so strategic. Yeah, you're gonna feel all the different healing because that's gonna come to the surface. When you eat processed food and you feel sick, it's because your body needs to be able to, your body needs the nutrition that you're so deficient in. That's the thing, is that we have people that are like, oh yeah, just go eat out of your garden. Don't go eat out of the stores. You're not going to get all the nutrition that you need out of your freaking garden. It's not like you live in an area where it has every single weather where you can grow every single type of food and also get your mineral content. And then, I mean, even if you're on a farm, okay, and if you're like adverse to meat, then you're not going to get the complete protein. And how are you going to grow soy? Are you going to go buy soybeans? And say you're a vegetarian, where are you going to get your complete proteins from? Oh, from nuts. Nuts are not a complete protein. Soy is a complete protein if you want to go to plant-based proteins. That's why there's soy in everything, because it's a complete protein that's easily can be transformed and transmuted into breads, into cakes, into cereals, into all of the food supply. It is strategic on what they're doing with the food supply. That's biofortification. So yeah, so it's interesting to see what people are doing as far as, or what they're saying about food. And you can tell when somebody is very food adverse and very food discriminatory. Obviously they have major imbalances, and they're very unbalanced, have very unbalanced energy. And yeah, lifespans are short when somebody is that food discriminatory. And so Jilly Juice is really just trying to teach people that all the food is fine. As long as it's food and it's food grade and it's FDA approved, every single piece of food is fine. Eat that American cheese, eat that burger, eat whatever it is that's out there that you have access to. Okay? Because I'm telling you, even those that live on a farm, and even if they eat like a lean beef and they grow their vegetables and they're buying gluten-free everything, they're not going to have the full, complete, diverse fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals the body needs. And then when a big, huge virus comes into the environment, they're going to be knocked for a loop. It might do serious damage to them because they're that malnourished. That's why people are so afraid of the virus. Okay? Because they're that malnourished. They've already painted themselves in a corner. They've already put themselves on timeout indefinitely because they can't handle the environment. They don't have enough substance in them to handle that shock wave. That's what this virus is. It's like a shock wave. My dog feels the lightning bolts. I feel the tiredness where my body has to go and re-upgrade, revise itself every single time I'm exposed. But the food supply, when I had the crushing headaches and everything, I was turning to steak. I was eating steak by, my gosh, like every day. I don't need as much steak right now. Now I have like chicken, and I have the little skirt steaks. But I was getting those big, strip steaks that was cut really thickly. And I was turning to that when I had the crushing headaches, because remember, you need protein for the brain. When you see that the most adverse reaction that people are dealing with is neurological issues or psychological issues, you know that a lot of the upgrades are happening in the brain that the body isn't catching up with. And so then you have to then eat the meat, the milk, the cheese, the soy, the ice cream, all of everything. So that way you can feed your body and release the excess. So your brain can not only repair itself from past predispositions, but it can upgrade to the level of the environment. You have to eat like a freaking horse, like a pig, when you think about it, when you're on the J juice and you're dealing with such an aggressive environment. You can't afford not to. Okay? Have that piece of cheesecake. Have that slice of pie. Just because it tastes good doesn't mean it's bad. It means that your body needs it. Yes, it tastes good. But when I did a shot of J juice, it didn't taste that bad. I actually was able to hold it in my mouth and swish around it, because after I ate that Captain Crunch, because I really needed the sugar shock. I really needed that sugar. I drank a shot of J juice, and it was actually pretty good. And I felt the energy. I felt my heart beat a little bit faster. I felt a lot of things, and then things were fine. And so, yeah, you'll feel the energy. But that's the thing, is that this is what you have to understand with the J juice and with the food supply. If you're obese, I can understand why you'd lay off the sugar and lay off the carbs for a minute, but not really. I don't want you guys starving yourself from very much needed mineral or carb or fatty acid like you get in sugar. But I get that some of you are needing to release the excess. And yeah, that's why people are saying they're losing so much weight on J juice, but because they're not eating enough of the sugar, the processed foods, the meat, the milk, the cheese, the cheesecake, the cakes, the ice cream. They're not eating enough of that food. And so, yeah, they are essentially wasting away. So I say, okay, if you're going to drink J juice every single day or every other day, then you better even it out with the food supply, and it has to be diverse, because I'm telling you, you can't afford to be discriminatory in food, not when you're dealing with new variants in the environment and you're healing and sealing. Okay? And so when someone is that discriminatory in food, it's because they have so many imbalances. And so they're not bringing in the right chemistry to balance everything out. Like I said, if your doctor says stay away from sugar because you have diabetes, you have other issues, then bring in salt. Oh, but if your doctor says to stop bringing in salt, then now you're going to be malnourished. Now you're actually living on very borrowed time. You're going to atrophy, because both sugar and salt give you the energy, but sugar is the covalent bonding, and salt is the ionic bonding to help with the flexing, the movement, the carrying the messages, okay? And the sugar is what keeps you together. The fatty acids, the amino acids, all the proteins, they keep you together. They bring together and fuse broken bonds in your brain, in your heart, in your lungs, in your vital organs. And when you are playing that discrimination game, which I understand because you've been taught by the holistic world, no, that's dirty food, that's, you got to clean, eat, clean this. I'm like, what? There's no such thing as clean or dirty. You're either clean or dirty if you want to break it down that way. But the food isn't. The food is just freaking food. You have the issue, not the food. The food is just a data pack. Are you going to blame the cabinet in the middle of your room because it's in the way? Or are you going to move the cabinet? Make it work to your benefit. Put it on a wall that works for you. Well, you can take the food and make it work for you. There's no reason to demonize the cabinet or demonize the food. You know, just use the food the way it was meant. Is to eat, and then your body will process it. Okay, so that's definitely going to be in my book. You know, I'm going to talk about people's discrimination around food and how they characterize and judge food. And I get it. You have to find a way to feel like you're doing something good on the J juice. Here's the thing. You know how you do good on the J juice? You eat all the food that you have access to. You don't play the discrimination game, and you drink a shit ton of J juice. If you're very, very obese, drink a lot more J juice and eat the food. I mean, you're still going to have to balance it out at some point. Once you lose all the weight and you reverse your issues, then you start balancing everything out. You may not eat as much J juice, but you're going to eat more food. Like right now, I don't drink as much J juice. You know why? Because my body's able to release the excess. I'm able to go to the bathroom every morning and have what I ate the night before come out the next day. That's how on point my system is. So I don't really need the J juice that often. Now, if I eat something really sugary like Captain Crunch, then I'm like, okay, that's so sweet. That's so in my face sweet. I'm going to go take a shot of J juice just to balance that out because that was too sweet. But, you know, and I notice when I get exposed to a new variant, I'll eat more sugar. I'll eat more stuff because my body is using up so much energy trying to repair itself from that new variant, or trying to revise my body. And I'll eat maybe more protein. I'll eat peanut butter. I'll eat jelly. I'll eat crackers. And I'll eat, you know, chips and soda pop. I'll eat whatever is in the area. And then my body will be okay and that'll be great. And I'll go through my processes. And then I'll eat a steak. Or then I'll eat some meat. And then the next day, and I get my body goes through the overnight stuff. And then in the morning, I poop it all out and I'm fine. And sometimes I have to sleep in. And so that's the thing. That's what you have to understand with J juice is that some of you, I'm in that cycle where I have my body's out on point. But if you're still having sluggish colon and sluggish intestines and sluggish gut, then yeah, you're going to need J juice to help with the action potential to get everything moving, to heal and to release. Until you've actually trained your body to do it on its own, because you haven't for such a long time, you're going to need the J juice to help release the excess. Because you still need the meat, the milk, the cheese, the processed food, all of that. You can't just live on vegetables and beef and that's it. You need a diverse amount of elements and minerals and nutrition. And you can't play that discrimination game because you can't afford it. Not in this environment. This environment is too aggressive. Ohio is always on freaking news saying, oh yeah, we have an upsurge, an uptick, whatever. I'm keeping up with my level of environment and it's insane. I'm watching my dog go through it, but she's doing great. I'm watching myself go through it. My husband has pains every so often, but we are evolving to the level of the environment and I'm eating to the level of my environment. And so should you, especially in this aggressive world. All right, bye.